Hey, NASDAQ, the state of the state. I am Alan Palmer, technical analyst, old floor trader, okay, where the exchange of ideas would occur. What are we looking at here? Let's look at gold here first. We're going to go through the markets here. What is it? High noon. It's almost high noon. It is Thursday, March 12th. Days are getting longer. Okay. Everybody's bullish gold, right? Actually, look at this right here. This was the high of the week. 52.47.80. Did we hit it? 48.70. Yeah, that's right. We took it out by 80 cents. Okay, so if you were looking, see this over here? See, this is pink, and then it's over there. Okay, if you don't know anything about charts, these are the levels when we're bouncing around here, okay? When we're bouncing around here, okay? Here you can, sometimes you get one, sometimes you get, sometimes you get this. You know, and then here, you go up there, tap it once, everything's looking bullish, and then all of a sudden out of clear blue, what time was that? 12:30 on the 10th. Today's the 12th. So this would have been Tuesday. What was this at 12:30? I can't remember what the hell this was. But if people are looking to sell it, 52.50 is a nice big round figure. You know, like a quarter, 52.50, strike prices, options, call prices. Okay, so now we're coming into the end of the month. Very important here. This is this blue line right here I got as a head and shoulders top, okay? Short term, okay? But we probably shoot back down here, okay? The bottom has the volume there, okay? Here's some big volume right here. What did this do? Right about here, so this was a buy, you know, somebody bought. Their system triggers off and they buy their unit, okay? You know, and then the market sucks that up and, you know, then we do what we do. So anyway, so this is where it is here. We got up, see, you're seeing it right here, this purple line right here, 51.46, and then an upward one. Last bar was an apex right there. This is a charting lesson. Downward sloper, upward sloper, they cross. Okay, now that is at 51.48. You could put a tight stop over here, I don't know, 52. You could put your stop over 59. When I say stop, that means if you sell it as a trade, or you're hedging it because you got, you know, 100 gold ounce coins in your American Eagles in your safe, okay? Well, get a hold of me too, because, you know, and that's where I would just place orders in there. You're like, you know, I want to sell it here somewhere. I want to sell it at a monthly, whatever it is, okay? So that is gold here. Let's look at it a little longer term here. I'm going to go to a daily. Okay, this is not cheap, babe. See that head and shoulders? Okay, and this one? Okay, you'd have to have one of these as your shoulder, okay? You can't really draw this because this was last year. Oh no, that was February. Hang on. Oh, that's right, this is a daily. I'm sorry, this is a daily. This is February 2nd, okay? Last month, about 5 weeks ago. And then here, we come up here and tag the olive line, sell, okay? So when you get this, and it was the biggest break, okay, and then you start coming up, these would be live on the way up. Green sell, okay? Sometimes they blow right through, okay? And pray for discernment. Anyway, so here we go from the green, we go up to olive line 1. You got another one up here, okay? 54.10.20. and 54.70.30. Okay, can you see that in the column? I hope you can. Here, you know what? Here, let me, hang on a second here. I think I can just move this puppy. Okay, here, let's enlarge that. I hope you can see that scale on the right, because these would be the numbers on a daily, okay, even though some of them aren't drawn about over it. So here would be another, here, we'll draw this right here. Okay, because this is going to be a big one. Okay, so if you got my charts, I would do something like this, and I'm going to put this as a 2 thickness. I'm going to, I don't know, what do we want to use here? You know what, let's use black, because I've been using black, and then we'll use hashed. The last price is black, right there, 51.31.90. Okay, So here, now we just got that. And the line, oh, I'm sorry, the black, oh, okay. You know what? Okay, so the black line is right around this. No, it can't be. Okay, 50.67. 50.57, right down here. Okay, here's your shoulder, here's your head, here's your shoulder for this one. Okay, I think gold. I think, where's the next $1,000 move? That's kind of a tough one, to me, anyway. I think we could break. We haven't shaken this tree. This was the first time, you know? And before, because in silver, remember, silver had a $4 break, $8 break, $10 break, $12 break, okay? So they keep getting bigger, okay? So these green lines are worth learning here. You know what? Here, hang on a second here. Hang on a second here. It's going to be chart lesson in here. Oh, yeah. You know, it's like your mouse. You ever clean the bottom of your mouse? I need a new mouse here. I'm on an old mouse. Okay, and I'm going to make these right here. So that would have been live around here. That might be too aggressive, okay? And it might come off here. But there's ways that I have learned over my 40 years, 40 plus years, 50 years of drawing trend lines, okay? And I was in the heat of it, you know, right when we were going computer. You know, you go from writing a chart down, you know. Okay, so anyway, so that's gold. We're coming into the end of the first quarter here. Let's look at crude oil. We'll take them as far as I guess we should have gone to silver. Okay, here's crude oil. This is where we went. This was the day session bank hours, okay? This is where we are right now. You know, yesterday they threw this hair stopper. Look at this, 85 to 77 on the 10th, 2 days ago. You know? And look at this. Okay, look at this right here. This is the way when I talk about the data you use. You're using free charts, man. That's garbage. It's garbage. What is it? What does that guy put in there? What does he use? Well, he uses free charts too. Okay. All right. Well, there you go. And if you're going to risk money on that, let me show you why. Just take my service. $220 a month, take my service, and you'll get a ton of charts. We'll make sure we get you what you need. Okay? And if there's stocks, we'll just set it up a little differently. Okay? We can do that. So, going back here, I'm sorry here. So, these would be numbers on the upside. Okay? Right here. 124. What did we get to? We got to just under 120. Okay? This is the April. Okay? They're still in the April. It's March 12th. So if you got a moonshot, okay, I don't understand the $140 crude. The United States has a ton of crude, and Trump is going to invoke the Jones Act. Look it up. It's just brand new, okay, where I believe it's waivers on U.S. vehicle tankers that can flow into our ports. So, so we're keeping Trump is keeping the foreigners on alert, okay, because this is the deep state. They're trying to take them down, okay? Cartels, okay, in Mexico. And so here's stocks here. This is, let's go look at the NASDAQ, okay? There's a trend line here. This was kind of just a trend line off the bottoms. You open up under it, kind of plays it. I don't know. You tell me, maybe not. Here it's exact. Here you kind of come through, establish it. The buyers come back. You know, I'm just saying here, okay? And then I got levels in here. This orange going across, okay? Because this is what you're doing. You're looking for levels. 24,569, 24,5,690. Okay, 150 points. So on one of the small futures count, that's $2 a futures contract. It's $300. You know. That pays for 1 month of having levels, you know, and this is the way, here, let's look a little longer term, okay, so I had this level right up here, this was, okay, my one client that was knew all about it, we're unable, but this was the other level, 25,153, okay, right here, okay, and then you just start like here, you're holding the green, hold the green, okay, and then here, market comes in here, gaps lower, okay? And then we trade down here to this line, okay? Now here we're trying to stabilize around these two numbers right here. These two oranges, okay? That's the NASDAQ, okay? So I would be about levels. If you want something more macro, big picture, or something like that, or you want to trade futures, you know, and you just want to stick one lots in, whatever, at 120 to sell crude, which I was talking about, not going home short over the weekend, of course. Somebody said, yeah, you were talking about short. Actually, a professional trader. I'm like, not over the weekend. During the day only, okay, right? Because the go-home flat algos are different from the take-them-home overnight. The go-home flat algos, it opens up $2. They will buy it for the next $2. And then the guy that came in short will blow out $4 higher or something like that, okay? I'm making it up. So this is... S&Ps. Okay, let me go a little bit longer term in the S&Ps. We're just in a big trading range. Okay, here, let me go to a daily. Okay, so you can see we're coming up down on the bottom there. And I do have some olive buys, but these are not long term, right? Because we've been up here for 2 months, 3 months, since October. Okay, and it's March. Okay, so this thing is kind of losing some steam. There's a lot of things changing. Trump is changing a lot of things internally. No tax on tips. No tax for podcasting. So anyway, so these are the S&Ps. Let me put it up on a daily. Oops. That's not a daily. Comma. Daily. Okay. See that green moving average? That's the 200 moving average. Okay. So we're losing steam. It's perfect bean oil. And they got the RIM announcement coming up here. We just, oh my goodness. Let's jump to corn here. Corn's up a couple here. We were up almost 2%. Okay, this is an intraday chart here. We took out Monday's high. Okay, this is a long-term trend line here. Now we're setting back here. Let me show you a daily here. That's not a daily. That's a daily. Okay. Look at a weekly. Okay, that's a weekly. Now they say we got 2 billion bushels of this stuff and the funds are buying it. Okay, so that's going to go into the equation here. This is where we are. When this happens, you know, I like to be buying the breaks here like this, you know, kind of like in bean oil over the last, you know, year. We had to wait for that one, you know, you had to wait months. So, you know, I would think, but in general here, see these powder blues here? Here, see these powder blues here? Where are the ones before that? Here, right over here. We are close to getting over several years worth of, you know, a bear market where we've gone sideways here. So, you know, and then if we get up here or something like that, it'll be running on demand or something, or who knows, could be war. But in any event, this was a rally here today again. That farmers, if you're looking to sell some, you know, 480 is a lot better than 440, you know, like 2 weeks ago or a month ago, 2 months ago. Okay. This is wheat on the daily here. We just came from here down, where was it, 570 here. And I think last week we were down here. And so that's wheat. Okay, I think we're going to call this a wrap here. These stocks look heavy to me, man. Look at this. We're just getting under here. It's 12:55. We're getting ready to go into the, here's silver here on a 3-minute. And here's this crude oil, which is kind of holding this 95.10. Listen, it's a green line. Got no comment on it. It's just a level. Means something more to the data scientists. Okay, let me, you know what, let me drag this down here. We're going to just go look into the cattle close here. Yeah. Here, this was a low here this morning in cattle. Came back down, tested it twice, I think, here. Let's go down here. Okay, no. You bounced once and came back down here. Let's just go look at a 3-minute here. Let's just go see if we can find that low. Yeah, you only got one 3-minute bar here. This was the 8:30 bar. Okay, so, for example, you have orders, you could, well, commercials, they were buying it right here, and this is where we were. This is a trend line to pay attention to on a 3-minute. This is how it reacts, okay? So let's go back to, that's where we are right now. We're back over this trend line here. I don't know. Here's hogs here. Let's just go look at hogs here at the end. This black line here, breakout and hogs here, you get it over, you're running stops, you're running the guys out of there, okay, and then we break, and then we come back here, post a couple sevens. Here we got a little tricky here, okay. I had one where we had shorts, covered them, and then put them back out, and then actually we went back up here this week, and then all of a sudden you get back under this trend line going down, and this one's off some lows here, okay, just a trend line there. Where do we go? We go to a green, just for the day, just for the day. Under here, I'd say, look at some of my levels. If you need anything, any of these markets, email me, arp@nasdog. Thanks for watching. Always use a risk stop to stop the risk.